Have you got your Alka-Seltzer? Have you got your Pedialyte?
Get your coffee.
It is time for you to get over your Friday night hangover here in Saturday morning. It's the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0. It's your best buddies. He's Dave.
He's Kev. And it's music time in the first segment, as always.
Saturday morning, December the 17th, 2022. Even though new albums aren't really coming out right now,
we got enough to catch you up. Alas, no concert review this week.
No, probably not going to have any till February.
Ouch.
But we'll have best ofs coming up in early January, our best songs, our best albums, our best concerts of 2022.
And we might try and find that hidden gem somewhere along the way.
But there are a few albums that came out in the fall that we haven't been able to get to yet, and I think we're going to get to them here eventually, late December, early January. And one of those, of course, would be Ugly Kid Joe, Rad Wings of Destiny.
Yep, a parody title from Judas Priest. But that's what Ugly Kid Joe does.
They're at their best when they're either wallowing in their heavy metal misery or paying homage and tribute to the bands that they grew up with.
And this is one where you get an homage to the bands that they grew up with.
I think that song that you're referring to, which is Dead Friends Play, could be a last-minute contender to make my list of top 5 songs of the year.
That was probably my favorite song on this album.
Dead Friends Play could be one of the greatest hard rock tribute songs I have ever heard in my life. Now, next week, we're going to review another one, Steel Panther's new song, 1987. But sticking with Ugly Kid Joe, Dead Friends Play is the standout track by far. And I'm not saying there's not other good songs on the album.
Oh, no, there's a lot of good stuff on this one. But
Dead Friends Play it grabs you and it won't let you go, especially if you're from Dave and I's era. Well, we grew up with the Van Halens, the Judas Priest.
Yep.
The little
all
chant
the
at the
stuff.
end. I'm not like you. I like ZZ, the James Gang.
Yep. This was beautiful.
Yep. So don't be shocked if that makes one or both of our list of the best songs of the year. Now, otherwise, we've reviewed That Ain't Livin', the first track.
Obviously an AC/DC homage.
Yep, we love that.
It's so good.
And then the closing track, Long Road, which at the time I believe you liked more than me.
Yeah.
It did grow on me as I listened to.
It does. The more you listen, the more it grows.
It's a nice closing track.
It is.
It really is. There are a couple songs on Rad Wings of Destiny that almost have that country flavor to them. Like Drinking and Driving.
Drinking and Driving is probably my least favorite.
No, I'm not saying I liked it.
Yeah, but it's like we said.
It's very twangy,
every song, every album now has the requisite country-esque.
Yeah, if Def Leppard is going to do country stuff,
then everybody's...
Yeah. Now, of course, Failure was the one song on there that standard, prototypical Ugly Kid Joe.
Yeah.
Sits there alongside Neighbor.
Yep. And I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It's like comfort food.
It is.
It's like popping a Totino's pizza in the oven.
Yeah.
Now,
not like the second song on here. I enjoyed it, but I couldn't quite tell who the influence. It kind of sounded like it had that Sammy feel.
See, I thought AC/DC again.
It had that AC/DC, but initially, that little chanty little bit was kind of like Sammy.
See, I didn't get Sammy out of it, but I agree with you. It's a very hard song to place because that chant that you're
Yeah.
talking about.
And then
it's still in my head, and I can't quite place it, but I know there is a band, a specific band
yeah.
that I should be looking at and saying, that's who influenced this song.
And then there's other parts where it comes in where I thought maybe Enough's Enough had kind of that little vibe going. Maybe I'm doing too deep a dive.
Well, but again,
But I'm looking
Ugly
for
Kid Joe, this is what they do.
They look at influences.
In this way, again, we'll mention Steel Panther again, another band heavily relying on their influences from the 80s.
Yeah.
No, but I get you completely. It's not a terrible song. It's not a great song, but it's very hard to pigeonhole in terms of who influenced the song or what.
Yeah, it's
sonically
an earworm.
It sounds
it's an
like.
earworm.
But see, now I had a problem with the run of the album from 2 through 5. After That Ain't Livin', the leadoff track, I think you not like the other more than me. I didn't hate it, but it was okay. But then after that,
Everything's Changing, Kill the Pain, Lola.
We already didn't we talk about Lola too in the past?
It was. I wanted that Ugly Kid Joe feel to it that we didn't get, but the other two, Everything's Changing and the Kill the Pain are like, yeah, okay.
They're not terrible.
They're not terrible, but they're nothing spectacular.
Then, of course, track 6 is Dead Friends Play, which we've already extolled the virtues of.
Yep.
We just love. I cannot tell you how much I love that
this
song.
This was beautiful.
It's just stripped down. The guitar, the drums just propel you, drive you through the song, the lyrics as they relive the influences. Again, Van Halen, Judas Priest, ZZ Top. I mean,
it's all there.
It's beautiful song. Beautiful song.
And then you kind of go, okay, with Up in the City.
I liked Up in the City.
It was okay. I liked it. It had that Chili Peppers feel to it.
It did have that funky, druggy feel. That's a good way to look at it, is the Chili Peppers. Because all I could think of is got this little mix of the funky, druggy, psychedelic type of feel to it.
It's got that rock funk vibe going.
Right.
That had that Chili Peppers kind of backbeat.
Right. So yeah, I like that. So that pretty much covers all 10 songs on Rad Wings of Destiny, as we talked about the last 3 already.
Yeah.
So, final verdict.
10 songs, 40 minutes. This is one I can listen to and listen to and listen to. I give it a 3.
I'm going to go 2.5 because of that one stretch near the beginning that I just didn't think was all that strong. But again,
see, I think I may have liked them more than you. They were okay. I don't know. I'm
not saying they're bad. I just didn't. The Lola one just
drove me nuts.
I would have preferred another original song in there. Just don't bother with a Lola cover.
Or if you're going to do it, put your own damn stamp on it. Give me that Ugly Kid Joe neighbor vibe.
Yeah, I think
Lola.
I think Lola keeps me from going to 3.
I can see that.
So I go a strong 2.5. I will definitely listen to it again as well. It's one of the better albums we've listened to
of late
over the last 3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
and that's
for sure.
Not saying a lot, but outside of Ultra Bridge, what else have we really had? It's better than Nickelback.
Oh God, yes, it's much better than Nickelback. That was probably the biggest letdown of the year.
Yeah, and I think I liked it more than you, and I still agree with you that it was a major letdown. Major letdown. Although now with our lawn passes, they go on tour next year. We'll go see
We're
them.
there.
Yes. Yes. The Maestro, the Conquistador, and Mrs. C have indulged in lawn passes at our favorite amphitheater outside of Indianapolis. So, for the first time ever,
we made the investment. We figure we hit 4 shows. They're paid for.
Everything else is gravy.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Fast pass included.
Yep.
So we don't have to stand in line with the Denzians.
We will always be able to get our favorite spot on the lawn.
Yep.
We've
Life
already
will
got
be
that all
good.
figured out. So,
We know where we want to be.
yep. So we will have plenty of concerts for you in 2023 to review. Trust me.
Oh,
We've already got 4 or 5 planned out.
Yep. And if you didn't think we had enough this year.
Yeah, we've already got 2 lined up outside of the Lawn Pass.
Yeah.
And we're not even into 2023 yet, along with the 4
Could
or
this
5 we've
rival 2019?
Yes. Oh, sure.
Where I had 18, you went to 19.
Well, you figure the Lawn Pass, we're going to probably, I would say, once we get through the 4 or 5 where we've paid off the Lawn Pass, then it's just going to be, like you said, then you said we go down for whatever we want. And if we don't like it, we leave.
No issues at all.
Costs a little bit of gas money. That's about it.
If it starts raining on us, we can bolt. Who cares?
Yep. It's going to be interesting. First time ever. Again, we're going to try this and see. It sounds like it's almost too good to be true.
We'll find out if it is or not.
I'll tell you the one thing I like about it already is the fact that any concert coming to Deer Creek, the Ruoff Music Center in Noblesville, now I got an entire year where I don't have to worry about buying tickets for us.
Yeah.
We've already got our passes.
Outside of their special events. But I can't see
the
them
only time that would have
many...
burned us was the Foo Fighters. We talked about that.
Yeah.
The Foo Fighters was classified. Now, this was eventually canceled because of COVID. But when we were looking into lawn passes a couple years ago, that one was not included. That was considered a special event. Now, I read a little bit about what's considered a special event. If they book somebody outside of Live Nation. Now, I don't know what that means, but if they book somebody outside of Live Nation, that's a special event.
So if it's somebody who has like a contract with a different venue run.
Right. That's what they consider a special event.
So for the most part, we should be in pretty damn good shape.
Yeah, because the lawn passes include sold out shows.
Yes, because the lawn passes are included in the sold out part. So we are guaranteed entry.
Yep.
And that's a beautiful thing, kids, if we decide last minute that we want to do something.
That is right. Like I said, we've already got 4 or 5 set and ready to go on top of the couple.
We could go to
other venues we've already got tickets for.
We could be down there every damn show if we wanted to.
Hey. Who knows? We might have a weekend back-to-back shows.
It's potential.
Might just grab a cheap hotel room in Kokomo and...
Yep.
There you go. But we digress.
Because we have 2 songs.
Maybe we care too much about our lives and we're expressing our selfish pleasures too much on our podcast audience.
Maybe. All right, let's hit the 2 singles that we have. Do you want to go past or present?
Let's do present.
All right. Metallica, Lux Eterna.
First single, of course, off their upcoming album, 72 Seasons.
Yep. This one has already hit the airwaves. It's got a great classic Metallica vibe to it. The frantic speed guitar. Good vocals. I like the lyrics on this one. I really enjoyed it.
It's fine. It's
Metallica.
It's a solid lead-off track for Metallica for a new album. Now, that might sound underwhelming, but they've been around. I'm not meaning it to sound underwhelming.
No,
it's just
they've been around for so long.
Right.
And this is what you hope to have as a lead for a new album from them.
People are so polarized about Metallica that I found over the decades.
Pre-Black and post-Black?
Yes, exactly. And you can even drill down further on that because you've got an album like Saint Anger that a lot of people didn't like that I thought personally was fantastic. I thought it had a different sound to it. I know the whole drama surrounding the album, and they were going through group therapy together, and Lars Ulrich changed the sound of his drums to make it sound like he was banging on oil drums, basically. And I just loved it, whereas most diehard Metallica fans can't stand it. So, and then they come with the big bounce back album, Death Magnetic. And then, of course, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. They haven't, in my opinion, been groundbreaking in a long time. But that's not a bad thing as long as they stick to the formula that works for them where they are right now in life.
They are who they are. They are not mellowing out.
And you're probably not going to get anything as intense or wildly creative as One. You're not going to get the dark Master of Puppets era stuff anymore. This is a band that, as I've said in the past, once they hit the Black Album, they became accessible to a greater audience. Now that, to me, was a good thing. Again, going back to diehards, a lot of them probably are still bitter about it.
Yep. But they are not mellowing as we have seen a lot of other bands do.
Right. I agree with you on that. I do.
They are still rocking it out. They are still bringing the hardcore metal that they're known for.
Yep. Yeah, so Lux Eterna is fine with me. As we've been reviewing stuff here over the last year and a half, we've always said, what do we wait for? Second single.
Yep.
The second single will dictate, for the most part, the quality of the entire album coming forward.
Yeah.
So I will take this as a positive step for the first release.
What do you give it?
I'll give it three frenzies.
3 is right on the money with what I have as well.
Yep.
Very solid outing. All right.
Now we go back in time.
All right, Mr. Peabody, let's get the Wayback Machine.
Who would have ever thought that we would have found, after all these decades, a song from the Doors that we had never heard before?
Paris Blues, the lost track.
Yep. And of course, there's a story behind it with Ray Manzarek and his young son basically destroying the only master tape
God
at the time. So they've pieced this together. Now, I'll admit, with the Doors, I love Jim Morrison's voice. I absolutely think he is one of the top 5 singers of all time in rock and roll. And a lot of the stuff from the Doors, I think it's fantastic. The end, of course, maybe because of Apocalypse Now, I just think that song is so massive and awesome and creepy and weird. And of course, stuff like Roadhouse Blues.
People Are Strange.
Right. So, but I will admit, I'll be the first to admit,
they also have a lot of clunkers too.
Well, and I have never done a really deep dive into their catalog. It's not like I've listened to the Soft Parade. I have LA Woman. I've probably listened to it a couple times. But
for as much good they have just as many clunkers. Because let's face it, that whole psychedelic entry era, it's either hit or miss.
And so Paris Blues probably fits right in that it's a little wild. It is blues.
It's straight up blues.
It is straight up
got
blues.
The total beat of the blues, the guitar work, the drums,
the vocal
bass,
structure.
the vocal structure. The lyrics were a little bizarre.
Yeah. That's where I was kind of saying it fits in with the whole Doors catalog.
Yeah.
In that it does have the little quirky twist to it in terms of, in this case, the lyrics. And so, again, I don't know how they were able to put this together, how Manzarek.
What was the original intent versus what this final piece is?
And I can't even remember if the other 3 members are still alive. I know Manzarek's got to be. I can't remember if Krieger and Densmore are both still around or not. So please forgive me if I'm speaking about somebody who's not with us, who I'm treating like they are. But it was nice to hear Morrison's voice again.
And something new.
It was just nice. It was like an old friend that you hadn't seen in 20 years. In this case, 40 years.
Yeah.
Going on 50. Just that comfort of his voice. A nice, like you said, a blues structure that works. It doesn't go too crazy, too nutsy, cuckoo. You don't have the keyboards overwhelming it like sometimes you have on Doors songs from their catalog.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed Paris Blues. I didn't think it was that bad. I'll give it 2.5 frenzies.
2.5 is right where it belongs.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
It doesn't suck, but it's not fantastic. It's one it's mellow background that you can hear over and over.
Right. And again, we've talked a lot here over the last year or so about all these tracks that are being uncovered. Some of them sound good. Some of them sound like stuff that you kind of wish they tried to work into albums, and other ones where you say, you should have just left that on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
This is kind of in between. It's good to have the Doors back for one song.
Yeah, this would have probably been second to last song on an album.
Yeah. But again, much better than a lot of these quote-unquote undiscovered tracks that we've heard lately.
Yeah. So, give it a shot. It's worth your while.
So mostly positive on the music front this week. I think all three,
yes,
to varying degrees, we can recommend that you check out.
Absolutely.
Ugly Kid Joe, Metallica, and the Doors. Now, next week, I mentioned second release from Steel Panther's upcoming On the Prowl.
Yep, 1987. A fun year.
And for our album review, begrudgingly, Dave will put up with
Christmas time.
We are going to do a Christmas album on our Christmas show. Just seems right. Just seems fair. And, of course, I love Chris Isaak. I think he's another guy who's got one of the greatest voices.
His voice is phenomenal.
He is up there. I won't put him up with Chris. I won't put Chris Isaak up with Jim Morrison, but he's in the top 10.
Yep. So we are going to do Everyone Knows It's Christmas.
Yes. One Christmas album a year. One. If that.
So there you go. Something to look forward to warm the cockles of your heart during the holiday season.
You just want to say cockles.
Yeah, so cockles.
All right, kids, that's going to do it for segment 1 here on the weekend edition. Your rock and roll fix has been satisfied, but there is more to come. Segment 2, movies, including our review of Amsterdam, starring Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, recently released on HBO Max, was in theaters just a few months ago, so we'll have that for you.
An all-star cast.
Very impressive
actually.
Cast. Very impressive cast.
So stay tuned. We'll let you know all about it.
We'll be right back.
Now that we've let you into Frenzy Club, here are 3 rules. 1. You don't talk about Sports Frenzy 2.0. You listen to it on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, and all other major podcast hosts. 2. 2 guys to a show. Kev Dave, the maestro and the conquistador. 3. 1 Sports Frenzy episode at a time. Until Saturday, when you get the weekend edition. Now get in there and let loose on some PC wussbags, will ya?
All right, you're over your hangover now. Here on December 17th, 2022. This recorded on the 14th. It's the second segment, the movie segment of Sports Frenzy 2.0, with me, the conquistador Dave Height.
And the maestro, Kevin Crane.
Here on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Radio Public, Pocket Cast, Amazon, Audible, Apple, Overcast, Castbox, and Stitcher! Movie review of the week, Amsterdam. Now playing on HBO Max. This quirky little murder mystery set post-World War I.
Let me first and foremost say that Christian Bale is one of the three best actors or actresses in the business right now.
Christian Bale was brilliant.
Christian Bale, even in a bad movie, I find to be fascinating. I think he is so talented and so good, and he can play John Connor in a Terminator movie. He can play a magician in a battle of wits against Hugh Jackman in The Prestige. He can, of course,
he can be Batman.
He can lose hundreds of pounds and get down to skin and bones and nothing in his breakout role in The Machinist.
And he can
Did I mention Christian Bale?
Drive a damn Cobra
in Ford versus
Ferrari.
Yep. And did I mention that he can be really good even in a bad movie?
Wow.
Are we going to have a difference of opinion?
A difference of opinion.
Holy crap. How about that? Every once in a while. This is fun. Every once in a while this happens.
This was a quirky flick. Granted, it ran a little too long.
About 2:15?
2:15. It could have probably taken 20, 25 minutes off and been a better flick. By far. I think I was delving into the core of the story.
I didn't have a problem with the length of the story. I just had a problem with the movie in general. I am probably reading too much into it.
As you usually do. And you were thinking it's too PC, weren't you?
I was thinking that this, next to Jordan Peele's Get Out, was such a blatant, thinly veiled attempt to promote multiple political agendas instead of just telling a goddamn story.
See, now I focused on the story. I discounted all the other crap.
See, I couldn't get beyond it. I couldn't get beyond the fact, especially when De Niro comes into play, because we all know what a raging liberal douchebag Robert De Niro is in real life. So, of course, he fits right in perfectly in this movie.
With the whole, See, I discounted that. I wasn't even going down that road. I was just enjoying the story and how the murder evolved and how they figured it out and working through it all. Yeah. I just enjoyed it for the quirkiness that it was. I wasn't trying to read anything into it.
Well, I can look at it beyond that too and still say I didn't like it.
Well, there you go.
I did not think Margot Robbie was all that good in her, and I do not like what you've got, kids, is you've got these three friends from World War I who bonded together. And the whole, oh my God, we'll never relive Amsterdam. That I got a little sick of too, especially at the end where they're looking in the camera going, Amsterdam. What the fuck was that? Come on.
In the middle of the war, it gave them solace.
Anyway, Christian Bale, as I mentioned, awesome as always. Margot Robbie, I did not like her in this movie at all. And John David Washington, the third member of this trio of friends, I've seen him before in Tenet. He is not a good actor. He is very wooden in his line delivery. He is not
He
expressive
does
at all.
not have much of a personality.
No, and this is the second time. If this was one time only,
But
I'd
this
be
is
fine.
this is
the
strike
second,
two.
The second time I've seen him in a major movie.
I
like
would
this.
have preferred Chris Rock have played that character. Because Chris Rock didn't really do the comedy bit. It was more the drama where you could see what he could actually do.
And he's been doing more of that lately with Spiral, and then of course in the last Fargo series that season.
I think I would have liked that character played by Rock better. For a better banter, but I think the banter could have been better between him and Bale.
What banter? There was no. See, that's another thing. To me,
there could have been
a funny movie at all.
No, it wasn't supposed to be funny.
When you say quirky, that implies a little bit of humor, at least.
The
I didn't find this movie funny at
just,
all.
It was just kind of off kilter. It was just kind of bizarre and weird, is what I meant by the quirky part.
No, I'm not criticizing you calling it quirky. I agree that it's quirky, but quirky to me also implies some level of even inside humor. And it's just, there's nothing here. This is to me just an absolute, we're going to jam a political agenda or 2 or 3 or 10 down your throat, thinly disguised as a mediocre murder mystery revolving around World War I. And I didn't like it at all. I didn't get it.
I just watched it for what it was. I kind of enjoyed it. It ran a little long.
Again, I still don't see beyond my looking at it for, as you said, the PC stuff that was in it. I didn't think it was that good of a movie anyway. What was I supposed to take out of this that was enjoyable? Again, 2 of the 3 lead actors sucked. You've got this massive, huge guest cast. We mentioned Chris Rock, De Niro, Oliphant, Taylor Swift.
Who the hell recognized Oliphant?
You got Taylor Swift. It's got a very impressive cast of characters in terms of the actors. But again, they do anything.
They did leave a lot on the table, but I was entertained.
I was not.
It kept my attention.
I barely got through the end. No,
I'm not going to give it a rave review. I'm going to give it a 2.5.
I'm not even. One Frenzy. One of the worst movies of the year.
It was not that bad.
It would have been a 0 Frenzy if it wasn't for Christian Bale trying his best to salvage this movie.
There you go. You never know what you're going to get from either one of us.
See, and this is the thing. I found the one positive in the movie.
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale did not let me down, even though he was stuck in a quagmire of pathetic filmmaking. He still shines. He
carries.
And I will say this. I don't know if this is like Andre Dawson winning the MVP
for
the
Cubs team.
I could see Christian Bale being in my top 5 at the end of the year in terms of best actor or actress in a movie for this movie, because it's amazing that he was this good in an otherwise complete and total turd monkey of a movie.
It wasn't that horrible.
And David O. Russell, I've seen movies of his that have been really good and really bad. He's done Election. Aaron and I, at our Sports Frenzy meeting Monday night, had a discussion about him. Moonrise Kingdom was very good, but he's also done the Royal Tenenbaums.
That sucked.
I mean, the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
That was not good.
Right. So he has a tendency
to drop an egg here and there.
Yes, and I think, while you don't think he did here, I think he definitely dropped a deuce.
Well, there you go. That's what makes this fun.
Every once in a while, it's going to happen, kids. Can't all be Bullet Train.
No,
Bullet Train. So 1 for me, 2.5 for Dave on Amsterdam. Now, of course, we don't like to talk about the awards all that much. All I'm going to point out is that Golden Globe nominations just came out.
Whose Golden Globes are we talking about?
I'm not going to run through the nominees, but we missed something last week that I want to talk about involving the Golden Globes. Who do you think's hosting the Golden Globes this year?
Who gives a shit?
Well, I would watch if it was Ricky Gervais.
Well, because he will pull no punches.
He will call
He
out
is
Hollywood.
not politically correct.
That's why they don't want it. I just want to tell you who's hosting. Because I think we missed this
Is
last
it Jimmy
week.
fucking Kimmel?
No, I don't think you or I know who the fuck this is. That's the thing that amazes me. Jimmy Kimmel, at least we know and despise. Do you know who Jared Carmichael is?
Who the fuck is Jared Carmichael?
He is the host of this year's Golden Globes Awards.
Why? What's he
had
done?
one
Who the
TV
hell is
show
he?
that I don't know if I ever heard of, let alone watched. I have no idea who Jared Carmichael is.
What is this supposed show he was on?
I think it was the Jared Carmichael show. Seriously. See, now, I thought initially...
Live research. Who the hell is
I'll tell you what I
D-bag?
thought initially. When I heard this, I thought this has got to be one of those SNL cast members that I don't know, since I don't watch the show anymore, since it sucks and it's not funny. But he's not even an SNL cast member. I don't know who this guy is, but he is hosting the Golden Globes. So the nominees for the Golden Globes came out this week.
Okay, so he's an American stand-up comedian, actor, writer, filmmaker. He's released 3 stand-up comedy specials on HBO. Blah, blah, blah. The Carmichael Show. On the Count of 3. He's been on Saturday Night Live. He was in Neighbors. Never saw it. Very minor role.
Telling you, this is.
There's freaking.
We are out of touch. We are out of touch.
He was in the Transformers.
Oh, great! That's something I want to brag about on my film resume.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
I'm telling you, this made me feel so old and so out of touch when I saw this, and I'm like, I don't know who this guy is. Seriously. Now, the LA Film Critics also put out their awards. This is a movie that I would like to see if you would watch it to get your opinion on it.
All right.
Because it is getting nominated for Best Picture everywhere. I've seen it. My daughter's seen it. I think it's on Amazon right now. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It is a lot. Well, you just like the quirky Amsterdam.
Well, no, I
This
was
is
just saying.
quirky beyond belief.
This is one that I've been thinking about.
Let's put it
but
this
I
way.
can't
I like this
decide.
a lot better than Amsterdam. Now, I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. But compared to Amsterdam, at least Amsterdam was better than Nomadland. Okay?
Well, I'll give you that.
I like Power of the Dog better than Amsterdam, though.
Fuck no! Amsterdam was so much better
At
than
least
Power,
the Power
of the
Dog had an ending that made sense.
I didn't even make it that far because the movie was trash. It was the Power of the Dog turd is what that was.
This is what award season does to us, kids. The prestige of all these movies.
At least the Prestige was a decent movie.
Oh, well, of course, didn't win any Academy Awards, and it should have because it was awesome. I agree with you on that. So the LA Critics Best Movie of the Year
lost me right fucking there with the LA Critics.
I'm going back to what we were just talking about. They had a tie for Best Picture between Everything, Everywhere, All at Once and Tar.
Tard?
Tar. No, Tar is just... Oh my God. You want to talk about a movie that looks pretentious? Tar features Cate Blanchett as a female symphony conductor in Germany.
What the fuck?
Literally, that description makes me want to go to sleep. Let alone if it. I
How
might
do you
actually
get a
rather
title
watch.
car out of this? Is that
That's
her name?
Yes.
Whatever.
You might actually get me watching Frances McDormand shitting in a bucket more than you get me watching Kate Blanchett as a female symphony conductor in Germany.
There you go. No, I have actually considered watching Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I'll tell you what, the way this shit goes year after year now, that's probably going to be the one I'm rooting for just because it was okay and it wasn't a train wreck like all these other ones.
Oh, maybe it was released in more than 2 theaters.
It did all right. It made like $70 million, I think. 70 or 80
Oh,
million.
wow, that's great.
Hey, for the award-winning movies over the last 6-7 years, that's impressive. This isn't like back when we were younger and Titanic was making $700 million and winning all the awards.
Gee, back when awards movies were released in more than 3 cities in 2 theaters per city for more than a weekend.
Oh, by the way, another movie that's getting a lot of praise here late in the year. As you know, things are getting closer to the Academy Award nominations. A movie that you and I are both really looking forward to seeing this weekend.
Never.
Opening, well, as we tape this opens Friday. When it hits Saturday morning, it's already out. Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
Who gives a rat's ass?
I have to give the podcast audience a little bit of background on this because it's been so fucking long since the first one came out.
I've never seen Avatar. That is one of those I refuse to see on principle at this point. And have no reason to even want to watch it.
Now, unlike Amsterdam, Dave and I are 100% simpatico on this. He and I are the few and the proud when it comes to we have consciously decided never to watch Avatar because I don't understand the appeal. They look stupid. It doesn't even look like it's good special effects. I'm seeing these commercials for Avatar 2 where these blue people are riding these combinations of llamas and wasps, and I'm like, what the fuck is
whales? And whales.
You know, and then the humans come in. Of course, you know it's going to have some PC garbage about the environment and how humans destroy everything, and these wonderful blue fucking creatures are going to be the saviors.
Who are actually humans because of all the bullshit, from what I understand. That
well, they're avatars, right?
People have tried to explain it to me, and I just don't care.
Yeah, Dave and I are on the same page on this one. We will never, ever subject ourselves to Avatar or its sequels. You know, James Cameron,
only Avatar I'm going to watch is The Last Airbender.
I'm not even watching that. James Cameron takes 15 years to make. He's saying, oh, there's 3 more sequels coming. I'm like, dude, are you expecting to go in a hyperbaric chamber and live till you're 125? Dude, because at the rate you push movies out.
How many freaking special reissues of the original have you done before getting to 2?
I was so happy when Star Wars relaunched and the first Star Wars movie of the third trilogy blew Avatar out of the water in terms of the all-time box office record, because I'm just like, as mediocre as The Force Awakens was, it was still gotta be better.
It's gotta be
than these blue freaks that James Cameron's come up with. You want to take the guy and shake him and go, would you make another fucking Terminator movie already and leave this shit alone?
Do something good.
Good Lord. Seriously, when was the last time Cameron put out a good movie? 30 years ago?
Easily. I'm
True Lies?
Sorry. Yeah.
I mean,
God help us.
It's that long ago.
I mean, yeah. I'm going to bag on Avatar, even though I haven't seen it, just based on the stupid idea of it.
And again, as I started this discussion with, it's sad but true. It's probably going to get nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars.
Of course it will. Even though it's going to be a
bunch
piece of
blue,
crap.
weird special effects characters riding donkey wasps or whatever the fuck they are. This is why I have no faith in Hollywood, no faith in anything that they think they know about life, politics, the way people live, us here in flyover country, because we're so stupid and they're so smart. Even though they barely got out of high school, but because they can pose and take a headshot that makes them look beautiful or handsome, they're so much better than the rest of us who actually
balls
go to work 40 hours a week, digging ditches, shelving books at the library. No, just kidding. You do more than that.
Back in high school.
I hate Hollywood so much. I hate Hollywood almost as much.
We were promised.
Almost as much as I hate Washington, D.C. Almost as much. Yeah, let's lop off both coasts and see how things go. I bet you we'll be just fine. Because the people that are left are the ones that do all the dirty work. Will be fine.
Damn Skippy.
All right, that's going to do it for segment 2. Segment 3 coming up. A little bit of talk about TV and streaming, including the start of season 4 of Doom Patrol.
We
Dave,
got some book news and a review coming as well.
Yep. And of course, I do have a dumbass. Another bitter rant about Hollywood. Couple moments of silence. So hang out with us for just one more segment, kids. Dave and I will be right back.
One more thing.
She walked into my office just as I was reaching for the bottle in my bottom desk drawer. Legs till Tuesday, lips like pillows. I want to hire you, she said, to find Sports Frenzy 2.0. Doll, I said, that would be the easiest case ever. Sports Frenzy 2.0 is on Spotify, Anchor, Google, Apple, everywhere you listen to podcasts. She nodded to herself, sat down and smiled. I grabbed 2 glasses. Life was good. And so is Sports Frenzy 2.0.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Segment 3 of the weekend edition of Sports Frenzy 2.0, taping here on December the 14th. It's hitting Saturday morning, December the 17th, but you know that already because you've already been listening for the last 40 minutes. Hopefully your hangover is gone.
Because it's time to talk about dog shit McGivens and the rest of the Doom Patrol.
That's right. It's time for TV and streaming. Doom Patrol is back. Season 4. First 2 episodes hit last Thursday on HBO Max. As this airs, episode 3 should be out.
Yep. One.
It's nice to have the comfort. We talked about the comfort of Jim Morrison's voice, an old friend. And it's nice to have Brendan Fraser
dropping F-bombs every 2 seconds.
And then, of course, zombie butts.
God.
If you didn't watch season 3, that's your problem, not mine. So those of you who did know what I'm talking about, as the plot from the end of season 3 has spilled over into season 4.
Yep. Just make sure you get your jellyfish to put on your head for the time travel.
That way you'll remember everything that happened.
Oh my God.
Of course, the Doom Patrol goes from Rita being the leader to Madame Rouge
Yep, a.k.a. Dog Shit McGivens.
Dave just likes to say dog shit McGivens.
And hey, let's not forget, Cliff got a new arm, a new hand with feeling.
Which he was saving to try to feel his...
to hold his grandson.
Right. Instead, the first thing he feels is brains.
Dead brains from a zombie. Oh,
Doom
God.
Patrol. Now, that Doom Patrol is quirky. Doom Patrol is what I define as quirky, but it's got the humor in it.
No,
See?
Doom Patrol is freaking bizarre. In a great way.
Yes, of course, it's based on the old... technically the old superhero comics from DC from the 60s, but then regained popularity as more subversive stuff, along with titles like Preacher and The Sandman and Vertigo, when DC did their adult offshoot about 30 years ago, 35 years ago.
And that's the only place you could get a character like Codpiece.
Yep. So Doom Patrol is off to a great start here in season 4. I'm actually more impressed, I think, with the start of Doom Patrol season 4 than I am with Titans.
I will have to agree with you on that. This one kind of just hit the ground running and hasn't let go yet through the first 2.
Yep. So far, so good. With the way things are going with Warner Brothers and HBO Max and the way they're cutting shows and getting rid of shows over the last 3 or 4 months in movies, the Batgirl movie fiasco. Now they said they've pulled the plug on Wonder Woman 1984.
Or the third Wonder Woman. That's supposedly...
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the one after 1984.
But yet they're still going through with the Flash to this point.
Right. They haven't technically committed to the whole rebirth of Superman with Henry Cavill yet either.
Even after the big announcement.
Right.
So who the hell knows what they're actually going to do?
So sticking around here for a minute with HBO Max and DC. Things have gotten so bizarre with HBO Max. And I don't like this. I don't like when Netflix does it. I don't like when Paramount does it. Forgive me if I'm naive, but if I have a subscription to Paramount Plus or Netflix, I would expect a show or a movie from Paramount to be available on Paramount Plus. Right. Does that not make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Is that not logical to think that?
It's fully logical.
Same thing with Netflix. I would expect a Netflix show, like if I want to see Extraction again.
You can watch it on Netflix.
Movie. I should be able to watch that on Netflix, correct?
Correct.
Now we're starting to see.
Are we seeing the cross-pollination?
No, we're starting to see the fact that these companies are starting to pull content off of their streaming services, even though it's stuff you would expect to be on there. And I think the start of it was the whole agreement with Marvel, Disney, and Netflix. Right?
Yeah.
Because, of course, they said now after a certain period of time, we have the right to pull the Punisher and Luke Cage and Daredevil off of
Jessica
Netflix
Jones
and put that all on Disney Plus. Well, now, talking about HBO Max, all of a sudden, we just mentioned recently, maybe a month ago, the cancellation of Westworld. Right. Even though they had been told that they were going to go through with season 5 in their cost-cutting frenzy. HBO Max said, nope, we're done. We'll pay the cast members for season 5, but we're not going to do it.
Right, because it's cheaper to just pay them off instead of shooting and the special effects and blah, blah, blah.
Well, now they have gone to the extreme where they are going to pull the entire series off of HBO Max.
That's ridiculous. That is absolutely stupid and asinine.
So an HBO original show will not be available on HBO Max anymore.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely, utterly ridiculous.
I don't understand the logic behind it. I don't understand if they feel like they can't have that size of a library where, if I go on HBO Max right now, am I going to be able to watch The Sopranos? Am I going to be able to watch The Wire? These are all classic HBO shows, right?
Yeah, it's
Curb Your
fucking
Enthusiasm.
digital content. It doesn't take anything for them to have it available.
So that's where I'm getting confused now, is why now all of a sudden do they get to pull Westworld off of HBO immediately upon canceling? All seasons are gone very soon. I didn't see what the exact deadline is, the date where they're going to pull Westworld off. But it just pisses me off.
Ridiculous. It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever.
And I told you I went through this a couple months ago with Paramount.
Right.
Where I wanted to watch Scream, the last Scream movie, Scream 5. And I thought I had all the time in the world because it's Paramount
it's on
movie.
a limited run.
We're going to pull it off here.
But we're going to put all our bullshit TV shows and have those available.
All the reality stuff, all the...
that nobody gives a shit about.
Love Connection on a desert island crap.
STD Island.
How many?
Horizon Parade.
How many goddamn shows are there out there like that? Like dozens and dozens. I can't believe people watch that. I think Horizon Parade is an absolutely perfect way to describe them.
Yeah.
Men are dirty.
Horizon Parade.
Men are dirty for watching porn.
Slut Island.
But it's okay to have all these shows.
Douchebag Confidential.
You got married couples going out there. Will they cheat on each other because we're putting them on an island or in a hotel with 15 whore bags? Will the husband be able to restrain himself?
Will the wife be able to keep it? Yeah.
Because the wait staff is all former Chippendales models. Yeah. That tells you how far we've fallen in terms of entertainment. All right. The last hope for DC, in my opinion, on the CW is coming Tuesday, March the 14th. Premiere date has been announced for Gotham Knights. The concept behind this is intriguing.
Such potential, but it's on the CW and they're going to F it up.
I know. Now, James Gunn supposedly says he's going to make all this cohesive. The movies, the TV stuff, the HBO stuff he's going to bond all this together into one universe. So we will see. Is Gotham Knights a leftover from the past regime, or is James Gunn going to actually integrate this stuff? Is he integrating Titans? Is he going to integrate Doom Patrol into his version
of the DC universe?
His vision of the DC universe.
We'll have to wait and see. Or is it just too damn far gone for anybody to do anything? Because they've effed it up for so long.
That's the problem. I think you're right when you were talking about The Flash, and they're still going ahead with the next Aquaman. So that tells me that either you're going to blow things up after you get all these movies out there and done, or you're going to have to figure out a way to integrate the past characters and actors into the current vision of the DC universe.
Sever the ties and start from scratch.
Right.
But stop with the origin stories. Everybody knows their origin.
I don't know how familiar you are with the PlayStation game series God of War.
I am familiar with God of War.
Amazon is going forward with a series based on
I heard
God
this.
of War. You probably have more to say about it than I do because I don't play God of War. I know nothing about it.
I've tried. The early editions were kind of generic. The storyline's decent, but the gameplay sucked early on. Supposedly it's gotten better. I don't have any hope for it. I no desire to see it.
There we go. All right. What would it be here on our TV and streaming segment if you didn't give Kev a minute to talk about wrestling? I know Dave would say,
it would be a glorious episode, but alas, we have a glorious individual to talk about.
Yes, NXT. Sad news coming out of NXT this week. The beautiful, the glorious former NXT Women's Champion Mandy Rose fired, losing her title this past Tuesday, and then fired because she went around behind the backs of WWE executives who, unfortunately, own the likeness and rights to their wrestlers. So they basically can monitor and tell them what to do, what not to do in terms of their public image.
Right. Under her wrestling name, Mandy Rose.
It wasn't fans only, it was a similar type platform where she was charging $40 for people to subscribe to see her in very racy pictures, which I can't find on the internet. Goddamn internet. Yeah, it works great when you don't need it, and when you really fucking need it, it jams you right up the A gap. Anyway, I digress. So
now, if she would have used her real name, there would have been no issue. But nobody knows her real name.
We here at Sports Frenzy wish nothing but the best for Mandy Rose. I think she will find a job somewhere else, probably AEW, in about 2 seconds. She'll just have to be a little more careful with how
negotiating her contract.
How and when she shows off her hoo-has, her wonderful, beautiful, fake, silicone-enhanced hoo-has. Because we all know that she's about 40% plastic, but
there you go.
Whoever did it did a wonderful, wonderful job. So we go from Mandy Rose to books.
Yeah, there we go. All right. I'm going to save the news for last.
And I don't know this news kid, so he's gonna spring this on me.
I'm surprised you do not know these two little tidbits I will spring upon you shortly. But first, Michael Connelly's latest novel, the Ballard Bosch book, Desert Star. Once again, pairing upcoming detective Renee Bosch with Renee Ballard with the now retired Harry Bosch, the main character that Connelly started with. So Renee goes back to the LAPD after resigning and getting ready to start a private detective agency with Harry at the end of the last book. So Harry's got some sour grapes there, but Renee has restarted the cold case squad that Harry had worked on for so long. And she made sure everything was in place before bringing him back on board. LA Councilman was behind the effort to bring this back because he wants justice for his sister who was murdered all many years ago. So he wants a resolution. And Renee brings Harry back on board with the promise he can finally work on a family of four's murder that he was not able to follow through before he retired. So you got two storylines running through here. Decent pacing, not too bad. The ending, all I will say is we're dealing with a throwback to the 2007 book, The Overlook, where Harry was instrumental in finding stolen cesium and the health issues that have developed out of there. So you got kind of a cliffhanger, what the hell is Connelly going to do with Harry situation rolling through. Not a bad little ride, fairly quick getting through. I'll give it a week 3. Not bad, worth going through. So if you like Connolly's Harry Bosch, this is one you do need to pick up and go through.
And we're hopefully, early 2023 to review Jack Reacher's latest, No Plan B.
Which will be like 6 months in the past by then. Maybe not that bad. All right. Book news coming out. You talked about Westerns. We mentioned it previously, wanting to know when we were going to get a new Cole Hitch from Robert Knott. February 2024 will be the latest. Opium Rose.
2024?
2024.
Wow. Okay.
Announced way early.
All right.
But July 2023, Flags on the Bayou, the newest Civil War novel from our favorite author.
Wow. No, I did not hear. James Lee Burke?
James Lee Burke's latest will be harkened back as a Civil War tale.
I wonder if there's any connection to White Doves at Morning.
It didn't mention that in what I read.
Huh. Well,
But
he just
he's
won't do
going
another
back.
Robichaux book. Why won't he do another Robichaux book?
Because he's holding it in the can
until he
until
dies.
he's dead and can bring Robichaux to a conclusion.
Well, at least it's not a Holland novel.
No kidding. That's what I thought.
At least it's not a Holland
After
family.
White Doves at Morning on the Civil War front, him doing another historical like that.
White Doves at Morning was so good.
But
this is much more encouraging than another Holland novel would be.
So
Very
we have February.
Yeah, you got
July
me on that
2023.
You got me on
Burke
that one.
is back.
Dave usually doesn't scoop me on stuff like this, but he got me on this one. Did not know. Did not see a posting for a new Burke book. Very good job, my man.
There we go.
Very good job.
That popped that I saw it yesterday.
Moving on to our moments of silence. I know Dave has got one very, very near and dear to his heart, as well as mine, but this one I've got to let Dave handle. So
Stuart Margolin, character actor, been in a lot of different things, but notably playing Angel Martin on the Rockford Files with our beloved favorite James Garner. Probably about the last one left from the Rockford Files. I don't know if anybody...
Boy, I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. I don't know.
But he was in that. Of course, he had a lot of guest starring roles in The Monkees, MASH, Virginia.
The Monkees. That's true. Now that you mention it, now I can see him in The Monkees. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, also in the movie, one of my favorite World War II movies, Kelly's Heroes, with Clint Eastwood,
Telly Savalas,
Clint Eastwood,
Telly
Donald
Savalas.
Sutherland, Don Rickles, and Telly Savalas.
Drives Dave crazy.
In this little obit write-up, they put Kelly's Heroes with Telly Savalas. No, Telly Savalas was not the main hero. Kelly's Heroes star was Clint Eastwood, who played Kelly. Get it right, you moron.
Sorry. I do, obviously, I know you are a massive, massive Rockford Files fan. And I, of course, watched it as well. Anything from the 70s, I'm down with it. So, of course, Stuart Margolin passing away is big, big news for those of us who love our 70s crime shows.
And movies and whatever. So, just one of those guys you could count on for a solid performance.
Yep. We should... I know we did this a little while back for Carly Simon. When she lost both of her sisters. Feel bad for Tina Turner. You should never, ever have to see a child die before you. And unfortunately, her son, Ronnie Turner, passed away here recently. And I've mentioned within the last couple of years, I watched the HBO documentary about Tina Turner. And we all know she had a rough go of it for a long time.
Yeah.
And persevering despite all the abuse at the hands of Ike Turner.
She is a strong woman,
yeah,
but she did not need to have to endure this as well.
Exactly. Yeah, this is just another hardship for her to deal with. And it's just sometimes, even though you have fame and you have fortune and accolades,
you still have to deal with the shit like
yeah,
everybody else.
Yeah, and even though I bag on Hollywood and celebrities and some pampered rock stars, it gets to the point where you just go, okay, enough's enough. Leave this person alone. You've already put, in this case, Tina Turner through the meat grinder. Yeah, enough's enough. And unfortunately, at her age, who knows how much time she's got left. And this is just, to me, just the cosmos, just the gods being, again, unbelievably cruel to her. And so we wish Tina Turner all the best as she mourns the loss of her son. Now, moving on, I have one dumbass in the celebrity world this week.
Yep, as we do our pivot.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit somewhat tied in here to what we just talked about with Tina Turner. But where you've got somebody like Tina Turner who loses a son, then you have nepotism. And I hate nepotism. I hate children, sons, daughters of famous people getting opportunities because of their parents.
The nepos of the world.
I complain about it all the time when we do our sports episode, hitting every Thursday morning, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. But I've told you, I can't stand Zach Collinsworth. I can't stand Chris Sims. Amazing to me. I'm still bitter about this to this day. I used to watch Chris Sims with Mike Florio. They had an NBC Sports Network football show every morning.
Oh my God.
And Chris Sims literally would say, I don't work Fridays because that's my day to sit down and smoke a bowl and relax.
Oh, Jesus.
And the only reason he gets away with it, and the only reason he still pops up on NBC, is because of his father. And maybe because of the fact that one time his spleen exploded in the middle of a football game.
Whoop-de-doo.
He's got no talent, but I digress.
Yeah, like his dad has any personality on the show that he does.
Destry Allen Spielberg, the daughter of Steven Spielberg, has just been awarded a high-profile directing gig. I wonder why.
Has she done anything previously to earn said directing gig?
Did you hear what her last name is?
I don't care what her last name is. Has she done anything?
Why do you think I'm saying this is a dumbass move? Is because it's nepotism again. There have got to be young, talented filmmakers out there who don't get a chance, who've got to be better than Destry Allen Spielberg. Yet Destry Allen Spielberg gets a high-profile gig because of her father.
So is she redoing Destry Rides again?
No, I just keep saying that because I find it to be a very odd, pretentious name for a child.
Considering that Destry was a male Western star?
Yes, and we all know how I feel about looping back to when we were talking about awards and how the awards season is heating up. Spielberg is so arrogant.
How arrogant is
He's
he?
doing this movie that just came out, The Fabelmans, basically directing his own autobiography.
How pretentious is that?
That's pretty pretentious. That says something when you have got the arrogance and the pull to get a major studio to give you millions upon millions of dollars to film your life story because you're so special.
I hate this crap.
Hollywood, you are still to this day and will always be full of a bunch of dumbasses.
Forever and always.
He's a conquistador, Dave Height.
He's the maestro, Kevin Crane.
That is going to do it for the weekend edition. We told you what music we're going to be reviewing next week. Movies, we will be reviewing Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson in The Banshees of Inisherin. Very, very well-reviewed movie. Colin Farrell has already won a couple of these awards we've been talking about for his role in this.
And in conjunction, you may get a little story time to be able to talk about something else they've done.
If you're going to watch it, I'm not going to watch it. I watched it once. I'm fine with that.
Or we can just bring it up in relation to.
But of course, it just debuted here this past week on HBO Max, so a lot of you out there can watch it along with us. It's got to be better than Amsterdam. Jesus, God. If it's not, they're going to find my body swinging from the tree in the front yard because I can't put up with any more overblown, awful movies.
It was better than Power of the Dog shit.
I'm just going to sit in front of a TV, pry my eyes open, and watch Bullet Train over and over again on a loop, just so I can see something that I know is awesome.
All right. We'll talk to you next week, kids.
Take care. See you later.